folks, how's it going? So today I'm not showing you my mug because I want to do a bit of an educational video on anyone who's in a situation like I am, which is trying to van life without a propane heater, which, not always recommended, but life is what it is, and sometimes this happens. So through trial and error, I have sorted out certain steps. I saw that. I'll fix that. It was on straight. I've sorted out certain steps to make for a warm night in -10, because that's where we've gotten to, is we are starting to hit -9, -7, -10 at night. Now normally in Canada, this is when our romance comes out. This is when you can sit on the back porch, wrapped up and cuddled in your lover's arms, a soft, warm blanket wrapped around everyone's shoulders and cuddling you in together. And as you sit and chat, you can see your breath mingling in front of you on the air, and then it floats out into the universe together. It's very poetic, very romantic, very Canadian. However, that is my current lover. No big, burly, handsome man yet. Just that thing. And as much as he loves cuddling me, just not quite the same. So, how do we do -10 and have a good sleep? Because this isn't a porch. That isn't a big burly man. And this is what we have. What do? First step. On our way to our location, crank that heater to its max, blowing air into the cab and therefore into the back of the van. Blast it. Sometimes I'm melting. I don't care. It's worth it for the heat in the van. Because the insulation, the heat will actually stay a while. That's what we do. Then we close this blackout curtain. And I say that with all levels of sarcasm because, as every van lifer has discovered, when you put a street light behind that, it's not blackout. You can see the light. But it works well as a thermal barrier, especially when that golden clip clips it up to the top of the door there. It works pretty good in providing some airflow for oxygen and such. But overall, it keeps the heat on this side rather than letting it go out the entire window, out into the cab, and then out into the air. That cab just sucks the heat out of this back really quick. That blanket helps a ton. Or curtain. Then, I light my candles. Remember, these candles take half an hour to an hour to heat up. Do not put them on last minute. You will kick yourself for it. Light them early, be preemptive. Then, I fill a hot water bottle. Oh, let me go grab that because this is actually the third time I've tried to film this, and I just keep messing up. Hot water bottle. Very old-fashioned. So old-fashioned, I don't even remember my mother using this. Grandmothers used this. Small kettle of hot water. Fills hot water bottle. About 1 liter. Now, when you're filling the hot water bottle, do it slowly. Air bubbles up. And when it burps up quickly, it splashes hot water back up at you and will scald you. Don't do that to yourself. It sucks. fill it slowly, give it lots of opportunity for the air to come back up and back out. Once it's sealed off, remember that you just put just shy of boiling water into rubber that is designed to radiate said heat. If the water will scald you, the bag will scald you. Try not to touch it. I use the top little funnel there as its handle to move it around. When I sleep at night, I'm very, very aware that it's in the bed with me, and I'm very careful to not actually touch it, just put my body near it. It's very important. So, another part of my working on getting warm at night is my bed itself. Sorry, Lucky, I need you to move. Thank you, baby. Yep, that's right. Plain old-fashioned spring mattress with stuffing. Lots of folks have memory foam. They're also not sleeping in areas that get below get below 0 degrees. Memory foam, when it gets below 0, it starts getting hard and it starts getting cold. It's not a plan in Southern Alberta. It's one of the few things that I've had to change up from normal van life channels. I have to have the spring foam with the normal stuffing so that it's, not freezing cold at night. This sheet, this is not actually necessary. This is just 40 years of always putting a protective sheet onto the mattress. It's habit. I'm not used to a bed without it, but it actually does nothing heat-wise. It's one of the few things I just cave to old-fashioned. Alright, Lucky, honey, you're on the demonstration. First layer, thick microfiber blanket. Microfiber doesn't breathe. It shoots your heat back at you. Has to be microfiber. Can't be cotton or anything else. It needs to be the microfiber. These are queen-size blankets. The mattress itself is just a small single. You know, the mattress you slept on as a teenager before you left the house and got yourself a real adult bed? Yeah, that's what I've got. Microfiber blanket, queen, folded in half. You'll see this unfold itself. Okay. Then I have a plain or a simple quilt. This creates the air pocket between the two microfiber blankets. This is absolutely a necessary step. Has to be a good solid warm quilt. Has to be a good thickness. What's this? Just shy of an inch? Well, 3/4 of an inch. But it's plain old polyester cotton, like polyester fill. But it is absolutely necessary to have that air pocket there, okay? This is 101 layering for, well, when it gets cold. Then, microfiber blanket, again. This is what goes against my body, okay? I've tried doing the sheet thing, because normally you have a sheet to absorb your sweat and whatever, and it's easier to wash and it protects your blankets. The sheet makes you cold. This has air in it. The air is also what keeps you warm. This is absolutely required. Cannot have a sheet. I lay straight on this. Then I have just a couch blanket, but it is a double layer microfiber blanket. This I go on top of me, and I seal it around my body, trying to create like a little pocket of this over my body. This tends to keep me very warm at night. So warm that Lucky will actually escape this pocket and go into the main pocket just because she gets too hot under here. It also doesn't help that I'm one of those people who get really warm at night. Like, I run almost a mild fever when I sleep. Yeah, it's funny, I've had partners where I'm like, going to cuddle, I'm like, I'm cold. They're like, no, you're really not. You're really not cold. Back off. So yeah, I sleep under this. Lucky tends to sleep here, just to stay out of my heat pocket, which is almost scalding to her. Then, to keep any heat that may escape out of that, we have the microfiber folded back onto itself. Remember, these are queen-size blankets? This gets folded back. When it is -5 and above, actually, yeah, -5 to almost 10 degrees, this is enough, and that usually stays off to the side. When I start getting to -7, -8, that's when I've started pulling over the second air quilt thing to again protect the heat and keep it inside, keep the cold on the outside. As I'm getting more and more cold, I'm pretty sure when we get to -15 and such, that this will be coming on top as well. It gets kind of heavy, but you know, it creates that warm pocket that keeps you safe at night. And that's how I stay warm. This is purely aesthetics. This is because that's also my couch and my living room floor and everything else. I much prefer Lucky to get the dirt and stuff on this, which is very easy to take to the laundromat and clean because it's so thin. It's small, cute, soft, and it keeps the dirt out of the bed. During when I'm just hanging out, I will usually cuddle under that dark brown microfiber blanket, and Lucky will cuddle under it with me, and we keep cozy warm. While I sleep, this is important too, I only sleep in that tiny little nightshirt. It's a very thin material, and it's almost like sleeping naked, other than cops show up, you know, and I have that and underwear on, so I'm not naked when I answer my door. That's important because it allows me to shoot my heat out into my microfiber blanket pocket rather than keeping it tied up in pajamas. It allows the heat to flow better during the night. Normally, I will sleep in a fetal position, keeping Lucky cuddled in my chest. My legs come out and about back into the kind of an S shape. So I create a little S with my body. That in the middle there is where my hot water bottle will sit. So it'll sit just below my bum, between my bum and my feet, and that heats up my leg section of my thighs and my feet. You know when you hear the phrase that cold feet makes for a miserable night? It's true! It's very, very true. So that is how I stay warm at night. So when people ask, am I warm at night? The answer actually is yes. There are multiple steps, and if you don't do a single step, you kind of want to kick yourself in the middle of the night, but that's what we do. Just to let you know, the candles, I've had people be concerned about candles. Will I knock it over in the middle of the night? That would take talent. No, I won't knock it over in the middle of the night. Oh, you can't let it burn all night, because, you know, it'll burn up the oxygen. Well, A, we have airflow, because, you know, it's an old van. And when it isn't sealed. B, that light actually bothers me in the middle of the night. I will end up, even if I fall asleep, within half an hour of falling asleep, that light will bother me, and I will wake up enough to blow them out. I have never, ever, no matter how exhausted I've been after multiple shifts, I have never been able to have those lit all night long. Just the way I am, the light will wake me up. I wake up and I blow them out. Or more often than not, I'll just put on their lids and snuff them. Okay, so it's first thing in the morning. Dawn has hit. It's usually the coldest time. If I'm allowed to sleep through it, I totally do, and I don't move until sunlight comes back up and starts warming up my cab. If I have to get up while it's still dark out because I have shift, I take a deep breath and I deal with it. So I get up, I quickly run over to the cab, throw open the blackout curtain, and I start my engine. So yes, that means that my engine will idle for about half an hour every single morning. Every environmentalist is now losing their mind. Unfortunately, this is my heater. This is the same as starting your furnace at home. It also it does a second duty in that, yes, the windshield gets covered in moisture, which is impressive because I'm in a semi-desert environment, but it still happens. But closer to when I'm ready to head out, I will just flip that over to defrost. And because it's been at it for a while, it usually only takes like 10 minutes to completely clear up the windshield. Which is fine, because I'm using that time to brush my teeth and wash my face and all that jazz. I'll also, to warm up when I'm really cold in the morning, like if it's a really brutal morning wake up, I'll come back here, which I haven't really put away yet, because I went to bed, and I will boil another bit of water for washing up. And suddenly it's just not showing that. Alright. So I'll boil some water for washing up and brushing teeth so I'm not gargling with icy cold water. And even running it for like a minute or two to warm up some water is enough to warm up the rest of the van. So that, folks, is how I stay warm at night. Oh, hi, cutie pie. Hello, cutie. So yes, I am warm at night. It is happening still. It's a struggle, but it still exists. Sorry, I figure we'll aim it at her for a little while. And it can be done. Below, I will have a link for a GoFundMe for my wood stove. As you're considering adding to my wood stove and muttering, why isn't she going with a propane furnace or a propane heater? That is because propane makes me nervous. It really does. Apparently, I was born in the wrong century. Propane makes me very, very nervous. The idea of having the fuel either right under there, where if I hit something, it'll pop open, or I'll slam into that cage and Lord only knows what I'd do to a bottle of propane. Kind of freaks me out. Already bothers me that I have a fuel case, that I have a fuel tank underneath. But trying to jimmy rig a propane tank under there, when it's not actually designed for that, kind of freaks me out. And that's all sealed, so not sure we can actually put it back there. And the fact is you still need holes in the side of your van for airflow, because the propane furnace will burn up oxygen because it has a pilot light. And it is actually creating fire just within its own thing that you're not actually looking at, but it still creates fire in order to create heat. Kind of freaks me out that I don't get to see it and I can't control it. other than little dials, and Lord help me if those dials stop working. Sorry, I'm pointing there because that's where it would live. It's also where my wood stove is going to sit. So the wood stove is literally just it's a cast iron box with a fire door rated to 500 degrees or 400 degrees. And the cast iron box will be mounted, like screwed, to the metal of my van. The walls will have... First, we're going to clear out most of that insulation. We're going to put rock wall there. Rock wall is designed to not burn ever. And then there will be the aluminum backing, which also protects heat-wise, so that the side of my van and everything doesn't burn. And then the chimney will go out the top. Down here there will be another hole drilled into the van for airflow. And just for double measure, in the back here I will have 2 little holes, one there, again for airflow, oxygenation. So I will not suffocate to death while my furnace is going, while my wood stove is going. And wood can stockpile in the van, probably in, that cavity. But I can stockpile wood, and it's not going to off-gas, ever. Even my butane containers, if I were to, if something were to knock off the tops of those, they could off-gas all over the inside of my van. Those freak me out too, by the way. That contraption freaks me out. I put up with it because it's small enough I can throw out my door. But it freaks me out. Wood stove, I understand it. I understand the heat that it generates. I understand how to be careful around it. And I understand how to cook on top of it. So when the wood stove happens, that is probably going to go away. So I'm going to put a GoFundMe down below if you would like to pitch in and help me get my wood stove. That would be super generous and super awesome of you. I can definitely film us unboxing it and then later putting it into the van, which will be fun. And yeah, eventually this will be my little cabin on wheels. Alright folks, that's my update. That's all the info I got for you today. Oh, it's that cute little head. And the eyebrows move. You can see the eyebrows from the back. Isn't that adorable? Alright folks, you have a wonderful day. And stay out of trouble. Bye.